open your mind and journey through the cosmos of the universe. This is Bridging Realms with Dr. Gene Carlisle and False Freedom 691.
Welcome to another episode of Bridging Realms. I'm False Freedom 691.
And I'm Dr. Gene Carlisle.
And I wanted to start off the show by talking a little bit of conspiracy news. You know, conspiracy news has almost turned into mainstream news as of late.
Yeah, let's talk some news. Talk some stuff that's out there in the zeitgeist right now. You're right, it has gone mainstream. There are people that you wouldn't see talking conspiracy out there sharing memes and really waking up. You know, people are getting woke to conspiracy culture. We
saw an Arizona state senator actually spell out Area 51 with the first letter of all his tweets.
He did, dude. I saw that. That was some signaling for sure. He's trying to get the conspiracy crowd on his side. And, you know, it could be some pandering. You have to watch. They will try to psyop you. You know, they will try to trick you by saying that they're going to reveal these things. We got tricked by the Clintons. I feel like they dropped some UFO stuff. They teased it a little bit, Hillary especially in the election, thinking she could take Trump with getting the UFOers on her side, and then she never pulled the trigger, you know? I feel like that was really just all John Podesta talking to Tom DeLonge.
Yeah, and if you're going to do that shit, you drop it the day before Election Day.
Yeah,
so
dude.
You drop it and you let that election come. I mean, that's the proverbial mic drop right before the vote.
Yeah, and, you know, disclosure's hot right now, so going into 2020, you know, getting a little political, getting into a political realm here on Bridging Realms, I feel like disclosure could be a big issue in the 2020 election.
I completely 100% agree. I think that Flat Earth's going to be a big point of discussion as well.
You think it could come into it, really? Like,
I really do, and I think the guy who's going to bring it into the forefront is Cory Booker.
Wow. I mean, I was kind of thinking Trump might jump in with the Flat Earthers, but I could also see Cory Booker doing that.
I see it as a last-ditch effort from Booker to try to win some of those. You know, there are a lot of Trump guys on the fence right now, and I feel like if anybody on the left just spewed a little bit of hate, or you know, just did something kind of vile, kind of sickening. I feel like overall, a lot of those Trumpers on the fence would jump on over to the left candidate and see him as the lesser of two evils, but still evil, still plenty evil for me, the average Trump supporter, to support. You know, there's something really fucked up that he does.
Right, yeah, we all, you know, have those things that we let slide with politicians, and you jump on for your one or two key issues, really. You know? And for some people, you know, that key issue is disclosure. There's some people out there that key issue could be Flat Earth. I think it would blow some minds if a politician did bring up Flat Earth. And I encourage them to. We've been doing some hard research lately, and we do have a Flat Earth episode incoming. So get ready, listeners who enjoy that. We're going to be talking about Flat Earth pretty soon. We are talking about the Earth today, and we'll get into that later. But hopefully these do come in 2020. I would like to see them drop disclosure as a campaign tactic. They've teased it before, and they need to give us the answers now, you know?
You know, besides disclosure, besides Flat Earth, there is another conspiracy that a candidate could deal with right now and get everybody unified, everybody on board, everybody voting for him. And I feel like that's where Trump is headed right now with Jeffrey Epstein.
Right. We did talk about this last week on the pod, or 2 weeks ago on the pod. And I think it's going to be a big issue. I think this is one thing that everybody's woke to. There's these memes everywhere about Jeffrey Epstein that he didn't kill himself. Obviously, here at the pod, we have done our research and we've thrown out the take that he did kill himself. But like most conspiracies, we're leaving it up in the air. We're leaving it to you, the listener, and we're going to let you make that decision. And honestly, we're all looking for truth.
Yeah,
we're all looking for that ultimate truth. And this Epstein stuff is definitely a big deal to a lot of people, and it's gonna just more is gonna come out, hopefully.
Yeah, and a big event that's going to potentially cause more to come out is RT is reporting that Ghislaine Maxwell, the supposed madam of Jeffrey Epstein, yes, Ghislaine
Maxwell,
yes, a real MILF, Ghislaine.
She does. You showed me the photos, and she does have the most of the qualities of a MILF. Yeah, you're right on that assessment.
Classic MILF, maybe blending into Cougar territory.
Cougar Town, sure.
Yeah. So she is scheduled to meet with the FBI in a few days. Wow.
Okay. So that's interesting news there. And, coming from a trusted source there from RT, which is an alternative news source, right? From Russia?
Right.
So it can definitely be trusted, and it's going to give an outside perspective on what's going on in the U.S. Definitely a good, I'd say, unbiased news source.
Yeah,
right?
For sure. Yeah, completely unbiased, because they're really just like a Washington outsider,
right?
That, like, man, the Russian state, I think they only contributed $300 million to them last year, which that's a drop in the bucket.
That's nothing, and they do really support conspiracy culture. A lot of their news is toward that. I'm pretty sure they employ a few conspiracy theorists, right?
Jesse Ventura, I believe, has a program on there.
And he's the fucking man. So,
yeah.
We trust this news source with RT here. Not exactly mainstream news, but if this story's out here, I mean, I'm thinking like this Ghislaine lady. She's on suicide watch for sure. Like she's gonna come up dead tomorrow.
Oh yeah. She's fucking as good as hung.
And if this happens to happen before this podcast comes out, we're still just gonna release it in this form and know that we were fucking talking about it and the truth was exposed here on Bridging Realms.
Yeah, guys, we want that Sam Tripoli bump that he got for calling the Jeffrey Epstein suicide.
Yeah.
We just want, like, give us that residual bump, just
right.
Hook us up. Tell everybody that we called it.
If we get that bump, if we do call it, we will just continue to pump out as many episodes as possible talking about this same subject. We promise you we will talk the subject out as much as we can and just really unpack it.
I'll really try to get more episodes out a week. I'm thinking 9 or 10 episodes out a week, and we'll all be covering the death of Ghislaine.
Yes, we will do that. We'll cover the Epstein story. We'll even maybe reverse our decision and open up the conversation on that Clinton body count. Maybe that could be the thing that helps us to change our mind. I don't know. But we're on the watch right now. She's supposed to talk to the FBI. Hopefully she does, and something comes out of that. And maybe we finally get these mass prosecutions for these pedo rings. Maybe we finally find out, who all was on the plane. Get the list of pedo billionaires that were on the plane that went to the island. Maybe we see some footage. Who knows? Maybe though,
George Clooney rides up on a motorcycle with a 12-year-old boy on the back and runs her down. He doesn't want any questions about that 12-year-old boy on the back, so he speeds off.
very likely scenario, actually. So today we're going to bridge a realm to a place that some people say isn't real. We're going to be talking about the continent of Australia. We've covered other continents on the show before. We did a great episode that I really enjoyed about Antarctica and the mysteries there. It's a very mysterious continent.
And we've covered stuff from other continents in general. We've covered stuff in Britain.
Yeah, we're being very fair, I think, to the maps here. And I'm very cautious to use the term globe because, we do have a lot of flat earth listeners, and I don't want to offend them with that word globe, but I fucking will, because I do believe in the globe earth. I do believe in a lot of science. So I know my partner here, False Freedom, is more of a flat earth side, and that's, we like to have two sides of the coin here on Bridging Realms.
Yeah, and sometimes I just think for a doctor, you're a fucking moron. It's no big deal. We agree to disagree.
And that's the kind of, back and forth that we have. We like to have this intelligent conversation. And so today we're going to be looking at maps, and there's some people that think that maps and things are bullshit, that there's this vast conspiracy of cartographers going on, and that certain continents, specifically Australia, are not real, that Australia is a hoax. What do you feel about this, False?
Something about it just doesn't sit right with me about Australia. When my dad left, he told me he was going to Australia and that I could come visit him. The first thing my mom said about it was, Australia doesn't exist, so that means you'll never see him again. So it was kind of instilled in me at an early age.
Right. This is wild. Like, when we started doing this research, False and I talked about this, and I thought that this was a fairly new conspiracy. Like, we're talking about it now. It's been circulating around for a couple of years, I think. And people thought it was a joke at first until it started to really pick up, and the Flat Earth Society really, put it out there, I think, that Australia possibly was a hoax. And it's been really shit on. I feel like this conspiracy theory has been really shit on the internet, and I think we need to give it its fair shake, right? Flat Earth, globe Earth aside, there's this whole landmass that we could have been lied to about. So, to give you a little history, we know that Australia was colonized by the British, right? Big classic royal empire, and it was pretty much a prison continent. They were taking all the prisoners there, the undesirables, and just dropping them, like we're just going to throw them on this big ass hot island.
Right.
The bush. You're going to throw them in the fucking bush. So the conspiracy theory is that instead of taking their prisoners to Australia, they essentially just murdered them all.
Yeah.
Just a big ass mass murder, and then lied to everybody and told them they took them to this continent that apparently doesn't exist. So conspiracy theorists now go on to say that anytime people go to Australia, or any footage we see of Australia, it is all fake. It's all actors portraying these people, and that you're actually going to some small islands around the area, or a staging area in South America, which really just seems like a fuck ton of work.
Yeah, it really does. The Flat Earth Society is super huge on Australia not being real, and have gone as far as to say that it's perpetrated by government agents, and it's just a non-existent continent.
So this would be the United States government, right?
Right.
They would think the United States government is, I guess, helping the British,
Yeah.
to pull this off. But man, it would really take all the governments. I feel like it'd be a global conspiracy.
Yeah.
And there I go. I'm saying globe again, saying global. But there are globalists out there, and there are people who believe in a global cabal or a global Illuminati. So if it was their will, if it was the will of the global Illuminati to pull off this Australia hoax, then I'm more in on it, right?
Yeah, and maybe Kim Jong-un just won't play ball. Maybe Kim Jong just doesn't play ball on faking Australia, so that's why he's left out of the big party.
Shit, dude. That could be real. Like, I'm kind of feeling this now. Like, maybe the global cabal doesn't want this Australia hoax to be found out, and Kim Jong-un he's the white knight that is really out there putting that information out, trying to tell everybody, listen, they don't want you to know, but I fucking know. I know the truth, and I'm not going to play ball on it. Australia's not even fucking there. It's just ocean. Like, Australia's just, it's bullshit. There is no, there aren't even kangaroos, maybe.
Yeah, and that would make North Koreans smarter than the rest of us.
It could. It really could. And, it would make sense because Kim Jong-un's been saying that for a while. He's been saying that he is smarter and superior for a while, and nobody believes him.
Much like our president, Donald Trump, who is also a white knight, and nobody believes him. And they're like the best pals now. And Dennis Rodman's over there in the corner fucking cranking his hog, crying at the same time because he lost Kim Jong. And he's fucked. He's fucked up about it. And he lost Michael, and he lost Scotty. And now he lost Kim Jong, and it's all he had.
And Australia, too. If he's been given the information, which we can only assume. So, in our research for this Australia conspiracy, we watched a lot of YouTube videos. YouTube is the place to go for conspiracy right now. It's where everybody's talking. And we hope to bring some of our own YouTube content to you soon. We went to YouTube and we found a fuck ton of YouTubers talking about Australia. Flat Earth is all over YouTube. And Australia is too. But the top videos you will find if you search this are YouTubers that actually claim to be in Australia. They claim to be and live and have lived their entire lives in this continent that could be fake.
To me, it's just kind of like some British people that talk a little weirder than normal. How do we know? How do we know they're from Australia? There's really no way to prove it.
That I don't blame you there, False. We try to go by what we can verify with our own eyes and shit. And I've never been there. I've never been to Australia. We saw some other hoaxes about, and they're places that we've been, so we know these places are real. I've never stepped foot in Australia. So I don't know. These people could be just, funny sounding British people, like you said. They could be actors. That's what most of the internet is claiming, is that these are actors. These are government hired actors that are putting out these YouTube videos with their Australian accents, fucking trying to sound like Hugh Jackman, and they're doing this to perpetuate this hoax.
Yeah.
So it's possible some of them looked a little fake.
Most of YouTube in general, on the YouTuber category, is fake in general. Those guys are all housed in the same warehouse in Modesto, California, and they just rotate them and put different wigs on them, and that's how you come up with your YouTube unboxings and your YouTube Let's Play videos and shit like that.
Yeah, and I think they're infiltrating conspiracy culture as well. I wouldn't trust all of the conspiracy videos you watch on there. We're gonna get some content out there. We're gonna break into that realm because of all the bullshit. I think that some of these, top conspiracy YouTubers, I'm not gonna name any names and call them out just yet, but some of these people getting top views for their conspiracy views out there on YouTube, I think, are in one of those warehouses in Modesto, just, going from different green screen to green screen, trading out with other conspiracy theorists, just reading their scripts written straight from the deep state,
Yeah.
It's just, it's misinformation. So I wouldn't trust everything. They could totally be actors just trying to promote their own agenda and their own personal gain, just trying to make some money off conspiracy culture.
Yeah, and we know how far the conspiracy dollar stretches. We've all learned that just through the magic of Blue Chew, through the magic of all the dispensaries that advertise on conspiracy shows. That's the kind of money that's involved in conspiracy.
Yeah, big money. And by the way, if you have a business that you do want to advertise on a conspiracy show, send them our way. If you have a business or a business, or you just want to tweet at these massive corporations that are throwing money at podcasts online, feel free on our behalf, because we will take those advertising dollars for the Bridging Realms project. So for our last segment of the show here, talking about the Australia hoax, the Australia conspiracy, is it real or not? I want to bring up some high concept shit. I'm talking simulation theory. If we're in a simulation, is this Australia thing just a glitch? Is Australia blinking in and out of existence, possibly?
Is Australia unfinished game content? Maybe it's DLC later down the road and you have to pay a certain amount to unlock it in your world.
Right? So maybe somebody went to their map, they went to their personal brain map that their brain was viewing, and it wasn't there.
Yeah, some people think that ghosts are a sign of the simulation that we're in. Like they're glitches. They're past glitches coming back.
Like a remnant of a past program or something like that. Fuck, dude. I'm talking like, what if they're coming from a different dimension? What if this is interdimensional and maybe Australia is phasing in and out? Like maybe there's a dimension next to ours where Australia does not exist.
I still maintain that there are only 3 dimensions. We don't have to get into dimensional hopping because you can't do it because there are only 3 dimensions. They're all readily visible to all of us at all times. There are 3 dimensions on a flat Earth spinning disk. There are 3 concurrent dimensions, and in 2 of them at any given time, McRib is back. So we have McRib right now. One of the other dimensions has McRib as well. One dimension, sadly, without McRib.
That's a hot take right now. And that's the kind of research we do here on Bridging Realms. I'm very proud. I wish you guys could see it here in Studio 51. We have a board where False has done the math on this. There's just equations everywhere, figuring out the timing on the McRib and when McRib is back, and this paradox that if McRib could be back in all 3 dimensions. And I mean, I've gone over it, and I think he's got sound logic here that it's not possible.
I've got McRibs pinned to the board from last year just to prove it.
Yeah, not possible that they could be back in all 3 dimensions at the same time. That would be catastrophic.
My McRibs that were pinned to the board disappeared while the other dimensions had the McRibs.
Yeah, that's some crazy shit. I can testify to that I saw that. I saw the McRibs. Well, I mean, I came in and they were gone, so I can confirm that they were not there at one point. I can also confirm, you see those videos of McDonald's food not degrading, and it's true. The McRib stayed intact, perfectly preserved. Yes. It did get harder, but that's all. So that's another episode in the bag. I feel like we bridged a great controversial realm here, bridged a realm to the possibly fake continent of Australia.
We bridged the Rainbow Bridge to the non-existent land, and everybody fell in the ocean.
You know, and that's what some people think happened. They think that Britain just dropped a bunch of prisoners into the ocean in a big mass murder, and then lied to everyone and said that they sent them to a continent that did not exist. And now they just pay a bunch of YouTubers. So, you know, I don't know. Once we got into the interdimensional theory and talking about the global deep state Illuminati cabal, you know, I don't know. I feel like it really could be fake. I'm not going to make a hard stance on this, but I'm going to say it's a very interesting theory. And until I, step foot in Australia myself, I don't know.
I'm not going to go like super hard on it. I'm not going to bet my asshole or anything, but I would swear on my mom's grave that it's not real.
Bridging Realms is a part of the Bridging Realms Network in association with the Bridging Realms Project, with additional support provided by realmies like you.